And welcome inside 302 Sports. We're courtside at William Penn High School for a big top 10 matchup between the home team, the number 7 ranked William Penn Colonials, and the visiting number 2 ranked St. Elizabeth Vikings. Again, good evening, everyone. Nick Alessandrini alongside the coach Bill Harmon, Jason Winchell, our producer Nick Halliday, and Mike Lang, your camera operators for this big top 7 matchup, if you will, Coach. We are here at a phenomenal environment at William Penn High School. National anthem coming up here in a moment, but initial thoughts on what we're going to see tonight.
Well, first of all,
And here we go. We are set for action. We'll get you starting lineups here in a moment. But, Coach, St. Elizabeth's 8-1, and what a matchup. We know you were busy with the Hens victory, holding on to that one against Elon there in a big coastal matchup on
we all know as a point guard, you've got to have that clock in the back of your head, much like a quarterback. But when you're closely guarded like that, you either have to break the plane towards the basket or separate the other way, or pick your dribble up so you don't create the turnover.
Again, a great environment here at William Penn High School. Tough place to play on the road here for the second-ranked Vikings. Alexander around the screen, going to pull up. His three is short.
Creating that character and influence in his program. They'll also skip the ball from time to time, which means they miss the initial player and they skip it across the far side of the court to get the reversal faster.
There's a whistle and a foul on the scoop attempt there by Deshaun Holden, the freshman's first shot attempt here tonight, and he'll head, I believe, to the free throw line, as it was, I believe, a shooting foul. Looks that way, so he'll step to the charity stripe. Holden big down the stretch in that win against Dover. Again, just a freshman, but the ball in his hands a lot in this St. Elizabeth offense, and had to mature quickly, and he's doing that so here early on in his career.
Well, he was very impressive last year, as you remember, as an eighth grader playing. Now he's matured into a ninth grader, but this guy is really savvy. He can play at a very fast pace and likes to play at a fast pace. But what I've been interested in watching already in the game, he's gotten very creative with his finishes around the basket, using either hand, underhand shot, overhand, kind of a runner from time to time. So he's expanded his game. Now we're going to see this pressure here by St. Elizabeth to try to speed up William Penn and to turn him over.
Yeah, it worked against Dover in that game on Saturday. Both teams having some success with their pressure. Cross court now to the corner. Quick catch and shoot three. High off the backboard. Rebound once again to Nixon Jr. Got a few of those early here. And he'll race across for the Vikings.
Well, one thing you've got to remember as a player, just because you break the press doesn't mean you need to attack it always so quickly. Sometimes withdraw the ball out and then make the defense work a little bit more. That was one of those shots there that I think Coach Cassidy would like to have Alexander just temper a little bit.
He races back to recover on defense, as he does, getting her cleared out underneath. Couldn't finish, though, among some contention down low, and now William Penn on the run. Driving, kicking, Whitaker, catch and shoot from the corner, just off the mark. Into the hands of Nixon now. Hunter leaking ahead for St. E's. One-on-one to the basket and able to score. Tough shot for Kenneth Hunter Jr., and he's on the board.
Well, the key to that play was the outlet pass by Nixon, who secured, I believe, his third rebound early on in this game. A quick outlet up the floor to Hunter, who is really good at running the court with the ball. Some players are very fast running the court. If you really want to be good, you've got to be able to dribble it and get the ball up and down the court fast. And Hunter just did that, and with a nice creative bank shot finish from the left side.
6-3, 4 minutes to go, halfway through quarter number one. Here's going to be a shot for Gibson. His three is also short, but the long rebound back to the Colonials for another chance. Mid-range jumper off the mark that time for Riley Garlick, and now the Vikings with the rebound.
Well, this pace certainly favors St. Elizabeth. They want you to shoot it quickly. The best way to try to attack St. Elizabeth is break their press, withdraw the ball, and then make them play some man-to-man defense. They don't like to stay down in their stances as long as some, so you've got to force them into a half-court game versus what they do extremely well, and that's run up and down the court in the full-court game.
We're going to have a foul here against Zaire Gibson, who is going to have a word with our officials here and trying to plead his case. But he'll get the foul here as driving to the basket was Robert Price. Fresh into the game, brings them a little 3-and-D off the bench. High-energy defender. And now his first chance at the free throw line, got the first.
Price only a sophomore, so Coach Cassidy, as we mentioned, has a young team with some veterans. But Price comes in, gives him some height. He's very athletic, runs the court well, a good rebounder, and a really good finisher inside.
1-2 as that one rolls out for the sophomore. Quickly into that pressure go the Vikings, but William Penn with an opening downhill and scoring once again is Webb.
Well, Webb did a great job there of taking the ball down the court. He met no opposition. Nobody on the back line for St. Elizabeth is defending the basket. They're worried about the three-point shot at the moment.
Kyle Alexander, as again William Penn this time speeding up the Vikings. An extra step for the sophomore point guard and a turnover for St. E's with 3:11 still remaining here in the first. A 7-5 lead for the Vikings here on the road.
It's a real skill to be able to shot fake and not walk. So many players want to put the ball down prematurely. You've got to shot fake. You've got to step and put the ball down before your pivot foot comes up. That time Alexander just too quick trying to get to the basket on the left side.
Off the dribble, deep three, and he got it. The confidence from Zaire Gibson as he buries the deep triple, and William Penn's got their first lead.
A good job by Gibson creating a little bit of space with the crossover dribble and then stepping back into that long-range three.
8-7 William Penn now. Nixon wants to answer, and he does. Big-time triple from Steven Nixon Jr. He was our player of the game on Saturday. A big game for him, especially down the stretch, and he answers the big three with one of his own.
Well, you can see why. He's a very versatile player. That time, a long-range three, almost close to a logo shot. But what I like about Nixon is he has a great feel for the game, can rebound, is a good passer and a willing passer, but obviously has the capability of scoring when needed.
William Penn gives the ball back, and now Hunter wants to catch and shoot three quickly on the far side. And the rebound hauled in that time by Elijah Coates. And now he'll put it on the floor. He'll try to go cross court. Saved in the corner. And then he'll get it back for three. Was Gibson 1 of 3 to start from beyond the arc as that one misses. But Nixon already has it going the other way.
Boy, what a fine rebounder he is. Did a great job in that mid-range securing that long rebound after the errant three.
Hunter trying to make something happen. They're going to get him with the arm. The hook there, it was a small one, but they'll get Hunter for it down on the baseline and able to hook and kind of use that as leverage to get to the basket.
Kenneth Hunter has always loved the baseline drives. A lot of players have their, what I would call their go-to moves or their areas they like to play from. Hunter has been really good over his career, driving along the baseline, creating mismatches down there, and then finishing at the basket because of his power, his size, and his skill.
See if they can get him going. Whitaker now has it, 149 ticking, as they'll get it inside to Gibson, and the freshman Holden just has to wrap him up underneath, as he was looking to get an easy two down low, and now he'll have to earn it at the free throw line. So Gibson, we talked about him being fresh into the lineup here these last week or so and already making an impact. As you mentioned, such a young team to get some of these older guys to really balance some things out.
Well, you need some experience. You need that voice on the court that knows how to kind of counsel you and slow you down. He could be a coach on the floor as well. That foul there by Holden actually was pretty savvy. William Penn is not a tremendously good three-point shooting team, but also from the foul line they've struggled this season. So unless you're in foul trouble, take that foul, see if you make them convert from the foul line versus an easy layup.
So free throws for Gibson. Able to split a pair.
So a good trade for Holden. One foul for only 1 point.
4 points now for Gibson here in the first. A 10-9 lead for the Vikings over William Penn. This one coming right at you, Coach, and he's able to save it and send it back into play.
Oh, yes. An errant pass. Too many one-handed passes in today's game for my taste. Sometimes you've got to do it, but a lot of times you're better served by throwing it two-handed. That way the defense, if they read it, you can pull it back.
Part of those style points everybody's looking for nowadays, Coach, right? They'll get it inside to Nixon, trying to split the defense. Shot blocked by the freshman Riley Garlick. And they're going to say last touched by number 1 in white in Riley Garlick. Will stay down this set.
Well, we talked about Garlick's ability at the offensive end, but I'm also impressed with his movement patterns at the defensive end. He's quick, he anticipates very well, and he's tough.
Right off the inbound, another quick trigger for Hunter Jr. Can't really find the flow early. And now in the minute 14, William Penn looking for an opening. Here's the freshman, Riley Garlick. Inside, misses the floater. And now quickly up ahead, here come the Vikings. Nixon Jr. off the outlet pass. His three won't go.
One thing when you play St. Elizabeth, you've always got to have some court balance. You've got to have players back because they love to leak out and try to get easy baskets at the other end.
Coates misses. Couldn't be put back, though, that time by Webb, and the Vikings come out with it. Nixon shot, lost it inside. Both teams rushing some things here as of late, and we're going to have a whistle. It will stay down that side of the floor. Knocked out of bounds by William Penn, but a good opportunity for the Colonials down this end, unable to get it to go. And then Sainey's off the miss with a good opportunity down here, but couldn't fall.
The ability for players to really utilize the Euro step now has changed the game significantly, and I don't think for the betterment. These are walks now. The fact that they allow them to pick up their pivot foot and put the other foot down has just really changed the dynamic of the game. And if you have developed that move, most officials are going to give it to you. If it doesn't look like a travel, they're not going to call it.
And then the other end, the bucket and the foul. An old-fashioned three-point play opportunity coming up for Zaire Gibson, who's making his impact felt here in the first quarter. And again, we've had some issues with, the continuation aspect of it here in the first state. We saw some of that on Saturday, but this time it was good. It will count, and a foul shot coming up here for Gibson. It's up and through and a three-point play.
Gibson's got a nice stroke, nice high arc. very solid player, as we mentioned, brings that really fine experience to the fore for Gary Lumpkin and his squad.
From the corner, that three won't go for Caden Harris, fresh into the ball game, but St. E is able to make it the turnover in the backcourt. Alexander with momentum for three. Price with the offensive rebound. Did he lose it out of bounds? No, tipped away. We'll stay with the Vikings.
Riley Garlick learned from that. Instead of just holding the ball, St. Elizabeth sometimes surrounds the rebounder. They were able to tip it away as he tried to dribble out on the previous play that led to the long-range three missed by Alexander.
Hunter with 4 already. That one off the back end. Tough shot. And now racing down the other side is Webb. The floater won't go at the buzzer. Heads up tire with the clock. So a good play to get the shot off, but it won't fall. And after an action-packed first quarter, back and forth, we are all tied at 12. Coach, initial thoughts as we head to the second.
Wild and woolly. A lot of very quick shots, not high percentage shots, which have led to, I would say, the ability for both teams to get out and run. William Penn kind of repulsed the first effort by St. Elizabeth's coming off that big win. St. Elizabeth's got to slow down a little bit, get into their offense. They run really nice motion when they have the ability to do it, but they love to make this an open court game. They'll leak out and throw the ball down, and I think William Penn's done a nice job here of kind of playing to their strengths early on.
We are all tied at 12, a top 7 matchup. Number 2 St. E's, number 7 William Penn. We're heading to the second here in Newcastle. We'll be right back on 302 Sports Plus. And welcome back courtside, William Penn High School here in Newcastle, the site of a big top 7 battle between the Colonials and the visiting number 2 ranked St. Elizabeth Vikings. Vikings 8-1, William Penn coming in at 3-5, but again, records can be deceiving. They are your 7th ranked team here in the first state, and a fantastic officiating crew here, Coach, for a big time battle on a Tuesday.
Oh, we sure do. We have Vince Shipman, we have Mike DiMuzio, and Mike Sneed. So 3 really good veteran officials. They knew to assign the really good ones to a big game like this. Well done by the officiating crew.
Here we go, underway here in the second, all 12s, as we have a driving kick to the corner. Hunter trying to create space on Webb. He does, but the defense contested it. It's short.
And he's looking for a foul there, but had he gone in and jump stopped and played off 2 feet, he would have probably been rewarded the foul.
Whitaker. Cross court here to Coates. Coates going to line up a 3, let it fly. No good. Rebound tipped into the hands of Gibson. A heads up play by Whitaker, who used the right hand to tips it to Gibson, and then Gibson able to lay it in. And now we have a whistle here on the far side from our officiating crew, and something here against Zaire Gibson. Not sure if it was maybe an unsportsmanlike delay of game warning, and maybe after is what I think it might be.
Unless it was taunting, it should be, as you mentioned, the delay of game for touching the ball. But what a savvy play by the freshman Aaron Whitaker, to knowing that he could not secure the ball himself, tipped it to his open teammate on the left side, and Gibson with that powerful frame was able to finish through contact.
Looking a little bit like Magic Johnson there on that one, as he freed up his teammate for an easy 2. Webb now with 6, and the lead back to William Penn here. Harris downhill, down the lane, it finds 2.
Harris has a really good first step, very quick, can go with either hand, and he has the ability to finish over top of the rim without dunking it.
Hesitation from Riley Garlick, and it got the defender off his spot, and he gets 2.
Well, the ability for a freshman to dribble through a couple of pretty good defenders and get to the basket and then get his body under control, very impressive.
16-14, as William Penn with the lead over the number 2 ranked team in the state here in the second. As Harris looking for a screen from Hunter. Garlick stays right with him. What a great defender as he drives and able to get inside and still able to finish for Nixon Jr.
Oh, he was very close there to getting a 5-second call with Riley Garlick, but the official blew it off, and then Nixon with using the ball screen and then rejecting it slightly, withdrawing and attacking, did a nice job of getting down the lane against a pretty good defender.
Was so big down the stretch of the win against Dover. And he ties this thing right back up at 16. Whitaker fires. 3 is long. Rebound battled for. Nice box out by Nixon Jr. He's going right coast to coast, but lost it as he got to the basket. Fortunately for the Vikings, it winds up with his teammate. Nice pass inside from Alexander, and it's Nixon Jr. who finishes it off.
Well, what a good find by Alexander as he drove it in the lane, didn't get too deep, found Nixon, who had gotten the rebound at the other end and really ran the court very well to be the recipient of that layup pass.
Good look down the other side quickly for the freshman Riley Garlick, just falls off. And now the Vikings have it, looking to score back-to-back possessions, hanging, reverse, and finishing, but it won't count as a foot on the line and a turnover for Nixon Jr.
Always amazing to me, Nick, that players don't know where the confines of the court are, how often they don't move. It's not a fluid, liquid court. It's the same court, at least the one you play on that day. So it is, they're trying to play so fast, go on the baseline. If there isn't room there, just withdraw the ball. But players get going so fast in today's game that they kind of lose sight of where they are with their landmarks on the court.
Yeah, both of these teams definitely picking up the pace. Off the screen, Riley Garlick lines up a triple, and he buries it. Kendall Riley Garlick with a big three.
Pin down screen that Garlick read perfectly. He stepped back, got his feet set. A beautiful long-range shot.
Lead right back to William Penn. Alexander, his floater too strong. He's so good when he gets to the basket, and the freshman Holden intercepts the pass in the backcourt. Another opportunity. Price for three, too strong.
Well, it's clear that St. Elizabeth loves to hang around the rebounder, and you've got to know that as a rebounder. Make sure you outlet the ball or possess it until the double team can constrict you, and then you'll find players to throw it to.
And I believe a 3-second call here against William Penn. Webb camped out in the lane. So a 3-second call against number 14 for William Penn, and the ball back to St. Elizabeth's. 4:41, 19-18.
Now that's a call in today's game you don't see very often.
I was going to say, you really don't.
It's primarily because there are not a lot of post players in the game. Very few players play in there or stabilize in there. They'll cut through and flash post, but very few, especially in high school. So it's a call that doesn't happen very often.
Tipped out of bounds. We'll stay down that side as you get a glimpse from Nick Halliday with the camera under the basket, and are taking you close down to the hardwood on the floor. It'll be Nixon Jr. to inbound. It's Nixon Jr., Alexander Hunter, Caden Harris, and Deshaun Holden for St. E's. And for William Penn, it's going to be Zaire Gibson, the freshman Riley Garlick, Aaron Whitaker, Elijah Coates, and Andy Webb. Here's Hunter Jr., 4 points for him. Step back, tough shot for three, trying to go off the window. No good, but how about Deshaun Holden? Another offensive rebound for the guard. And the freshman guard hanging out amongst the trees down there, Coach, but giving his team some second chances.
Well, St. Elizabeth's guards have been famous over the life of this program to rebound. They love to slip in on the offensive glass. A lot of defensive guards don't look to block out. So if you don't do that, these St. Elizabeth's guards are going to really hurt you.
Blocked from behind emphatically by Coates. It leads, though, to a corner three from Harris. It's no good, but another opportunity for St. E's, who are dominating the offensive glass, and they make it pay off with Kyan Alexander with the right-hand floater.
Alexander likes to use the floater. Even though there's no shot clock in the game, he likes to get in there and go up against taller players with that floater.
Off the bounce, Riley Garlick, mid-range jumper, no good. Rebound tracked down by Webb for the moment. It's a battle for it, and Webb able to take it away. And we're going to have a foul, and a whistle. It's going to go against Harris and the Vikings.
What you want to love to see as a fan, as an announcer, or a coach is when your players are playing that hard. First to the floor is a great slogan. You should be the first to the floor to secure the ball. There were three players there that were all first to the floor, so great hustle by both teams.
It's going to stay with William Penn. It'll be Gibson with the honors on the inbound. 3:44 and a 2019 lead for the Vikings on the road. Battle of top 7 teams. And you were talking about those rebounding Vikings. I know Patrick Arianis hit the glass hard when he was here.
I'm sure he did. A really savvy player was Pat Arianis.
3:35 and ticking now here in half number 1. Whitaker crossing over, getting inside. Floater no good. Gibson trying to battle for the rebound. He does, and back up and through. He gets it to fall, +1. His second chance at the old-fashioned three-point play tonight for Zaire Gibson.
Gibson at 6'3" does a really good job of positioning himself inside. He uses his body to carve out a space. He's able to hold it because of his physicality, gets himself in good position to get rebounds or drop-offs, very strong, and then can go up. And, you know, finishing through contact is an art. It really is. You've got to know how to hold the ball away, how to absorb contact, and then be able to get the ball extended with your arms. Zaire Gibson does a very nice job of that.
Unable to complete the three-point play, but the bucket does stand. 21-20, that one gives the lead back to William Penn. We've been on the seesaw here in the second quarter. Back and forth we go.
St. Elizabeth from time to time in their 5-out will do a little bit of weaving action, some dribble handoff. But what they really want to do is space the court and open up driving lanes for all 5 of their players who have the capability and the skill level to do that.
A controversial call on the far side as Coach Gary Lumpkin emphatically believes that should be his team's basketball, as he thinks it was last touched by the Vikings. Our officials got together. They will say last touch by William Penn, so we'll stay with St. Eves.
Talk about a guy that played hard, Gary Lumpkin.
Yeah, that's right.
I never was able to call one of his games. He left the year before I came back from New York, but I'll tell you what, a great player here at William Penn for my good friend Jim Phillips, and he also had a terrific career at Xavier.
And what a job he's done here since becoming the head coach at William Penn. Again, a state championship appearance a few years ago in one of his early years. Alexander around the screen. He's going to elevate from the free throw line. No good.
Pretty good look coming off that screen. Alexander's been a little cold here, but he's a player that can heat up very quickly. He's unafraid, and he keeps shooting.
One of the best game IQs for such a young player here in the state. As Whitaker gets it back to Gibson. He's been the hot hand offensively so far today. Good active hands from the Vikings, almost able to poke it away. Whitaker stuck on the block, gonna do something. He'll turn, get it to go off the glass, but it won't count. An extra step.
And he may have moved that pivot foot a little bit, but he was getting bumped in there, and this is my complaint about the game today. I can take off from the three-point line with 3 steps, and that's not a walk, yet the post player, a player inside, gets bumped, moves his pivot foot maybe 3 inches. No advantage, just what I don't understand about the way the game's officiated in today's world. I'm not saying it was a bad call, but
Deshaun Holden dominating the offensive glass as he puts it back up and through for the freshman, who's been fantastic there, hovering around the rim. Again, short in size, but able to box out, and making his impact felt there on the glass.
William Penn likes to run 4 round 1. They'll isolate people in the mid-post area and then attack.
Rebound battle between Riley Garlick and Alexander, neither trying to give an inch here. And how about that, a sophomore and a freshman, 2 of the better young players in the state.
Yes.
Going at it there under the basket. Again, when you get in a game like this with this crowd here in this environment with 2 teams like this, going to have that type of thing happen every now and then. An official's going to talk to them. 22-21 with 1:50 to go in the half.
And that's where you want to have a veteran officiating crew for a very physical and emotional game like this. They know how to take control. They know how to slow things down, talk to the players, talk to the coaches. So a nice job by this crew to kind of settle things down.
William Penn ball after the tie-up. They'll feed it inside to Garlick. He couldn't handle the one-handed pass. Holden downhill. He's fantastic in traffic, and there he goes.
And not only that, but incredibly creative with both hand finishes around the basket.
Webb going to run down the baseline. That'll be a travel. And now 24-21 ball back to the Vikings. We've been going back and forth, alternating lead changes, and now for the first time since early in the second quarter, a 3-point lead here for the Vikings.
Sometimes you're actually too quick for your own body. That time Webb was trying to create there. All he had to do was put 1 dribble down. Just kind of got that running start in from the left baseline.
1:15 and ticking. Here's Nixon Jr. battling with Riley Garlick, and they're going to get Riley Garlick again with a body and a foul. We'll have to double check again the fouls here on the scoreboard at the half, but a timeout and a small break as Coach Lumpkin has a word with our officials. 1:14, 24-21, Coach. It's been a fun one, too fast at time, very fast-paced, high energy. We've seen some crazy shots, we've seen some great shots, but it's been a fun one so far here in the first half.
Well, there's a lot of skill out on the court, and they play very hard, and I give them a lot of credit for that. If and when they learn just to slow down, be a little bit more selective with some of their shots, I think their games will even improve more. But very impressive skill level. Seated to our right is Del Tech coach, head coach, Mr. Rago, Dickie Rago, who was the longtime St. E's coach. But I also wanted to mention a dear friend of a lot of ours, ex-St. Elizabeth's player and coach, Joe Hussey, passed away earlier in the month, and he was a terrific player. I actually played against him back in the 60s. He was at St. Elizabeth's, and I was at Friends, and a great performer. Went on to have a wonderful career at St. Joseph's, a longtime coach here in Delaware. and he passed away on January 9th. So my thoughts are with his family and all his friends. A terrific guy who was a big part of the St. Elizabeth's history.
Absolutely. Again, thoughts and prayers with his friends and family for sure. What an impact he had. And you mentioned Coach Rago coming over to us here while we were on the air before, giving us a wave. And he's checking out some good basketball. Nixon Jr. out of the timeout. His three no good. A big rebound that time here from William Penn. And Elijah Coates will have it under a minute to go in the half. Coates, couple Euro step to the baseline, throws it up off the glass, no good. Rebound, though, to William Penn, and wrapped up underneath is Andy Webb. And let's see, I believe they're going to get maybe a travel call there. I didn't see it. So it's going to go back to the Vikings.
Well, Webb was very aggressive. That was a jump ball, and that's why the arrow changed. So good job there by Webb. To me, anytime the arrow changes, it's worth a point.
40 seconds and ticking. 3-point lead for the Vikings here on the road. Here's the freshman Holden, and he'll get bumped outside by Elijah Coates.
The issue is when you're very quick as a defender, you still don't want to bump a player. You can apply great pressure by having a small cushion. The quicker you are, the closer the cushion can be. The slower you are, you've got to have a little bit more. But if players are trying to drive constantly, you need to give them a little bit of separation so you don't get that ticky-tack foul called.
Hunter trying to use his size to battle inside. Again, struggling just to get some shots to fall for the leading scorer for St. E's. Webb almost lost it, kicks it to the corner. The three is up, and the three is good. Aaron Whitaker.
Another one of those really good freshmen for Gary Lumpkin and William Penn with a great shot. The skip pass by Webb was key.
They're going to have a whistle and I believe an offensive foul or just a turn. Excuse me, they're going to change a possession. So no whistle, but the ball out of bounds. Last touched by St. E's. So just like that after the three, we're tied at 24. And William Penn with a chance to take the lead into the locker room with 7.5 seconds to go.
Well, I love the fact I saw somebody attempt to draw a charge. A great play with these out-of-control drivers. There should be 10 charges drawn in this game.
Good defense by Kyan Alexander. He pokes away the feed, and now it'll be William Penn to inbound with 2 seconds. Going to have to be a catch-and-shoot opportunity.
And you just want to make sure you get the ball in. Don't make a mistake here. The shot opportunity is going to be very low quality unless you can get something at the rim.
Coates going to elevate, gets the shot off, and he got it. Will it count? And they will count it. And what a three to send the Colonials into the locker room. It was close, but Coates off of 1 foot at the volleyball line sinks the triple, and that's going to give the Colonials a 27-24 3-point lead here at the half. Coach, what stood out to you here in our first half of action between the Vikings and the Colonials?
I love the resiliency of the William Penn Colonials. They play extremely hard. Sometimes it doesn't always look pretty, but I'll tell you what, they've got a lot of really good athletes out on the floor. They play a full-court game. They're athletic enough to defend St. Elizabeth's actions. They've done a really good job of rebounding the ball as well. St. Elizabeth, on the other hand, has played very hard themselves. They've just kind of taken some questionable shots very early in the possession. If they just slow down a little bit, they're going to get a high-quality shot every time. But a really good ball game so far here in the first half.
Yeah, we've got a good one. We are all 27-24 lead to William Penn, the home team here, as the two teams head to the locker room. We're going to be back. We'll get you first half stats and then second half action right here courtside in Newcastle at William Penn. It's the Vikings and the Colonials. Second half coming up.
Hi, I'm Scott Kammerer from Soto Concepts. Today we're at Fish On in the Villages of 5 Points. Come check us out. Fish On is committed to serving beautiful, simple coastal cuisine in a cool atmosphere with a happening bar, spacious dining room, and outside patio. Popular dishes include the seafood stew and fresh oysters from the raw bar. Fish On's recently renovated event room and is the perfect spot for your next event. Fish On in Lewis in the Villages of 5 Points, open 7 days a week, best happy hour around. See you. Hi, I'm Scott Kammerer, president of Soto Concepts, the best restaurant group in the state, and we're inviting you to come join our team. Soto Concepts is a growing hospitality company with 16 restaurants and a variety of other hospitality businesses, all located in beautiful southern Delaware. We have recently added many departments to our executive leadership team, including a training department, a property development department, and a construction department. We invite you to come live at the beach and work with a growing restaurant group with many opportunities to advance your career. Soto Concepts Restaurant Group, come check us out.
Welcome to Surf Bagel.
Surf Bagel has served the community in Delaware for over 20 years, providing fresh, hot bagels, breakfast sandwiches, lunch sandwiches, wraps, salads, local coffee and smoothies, and our iconic merch. Welcome to Surf Bagel. We're stoked to serve you.
Welcome to Surf Bagel.
Hi, I'm Scott Kammerer from Solo Concepts. Today we're at Lupo Italian Kitchen in downtown Rehoboth Beach. Come check us out. Located inside the Hotel Rehoboth, Lupo serves coastal Italian cuisine with fresh pasta made in-house daily. Lupo features plenty of unique craft cocktails and an extensive award-winning all-Italian wine list. Popular dishes include lobster bucatini, veal meatballs, grilled swordfish, and eggplant parmesan. Lupo Italian Kitchen on Rehoboth Avenue, serving happy hour daily and dinner 7 days a week. See you soon.
The things that matter most happen right in our own backyard. Our neighbors, our schools, the places we go, and the people we know. And now there's one news outlet where our story is told. Delaware Live. Locally owned community-based news. Free to every reader, because Delaware's future belongs to all of us. Quality journalism we can trust to help us take on the day. Delaware Live. Our state, our news, our home.
Get the assurance that your HVAC system is what you need with Ambience. Ambience provides you with over 25 years of experience in the heating, cooling, and plumbing industry. The team at Ambience Heating and Air Conditioning provides high-quality residential HVAC installations, maintenance, and repairs in new and older homes in the Delaware, Maryland, Pennsylvania tri-state area. You may not realize it, but half of your energy costs go to heating and cooling. Make sure your energy dollars count and call us today for a free estimate. 302-239-HVAC. 302-239-4822.
Welcome to Premier Physical Therapy and Sports Performance. We're a locally owned outpatient physical therapy practice with convenient locations in all 3 counties in Delaware. At Premier, we have experienced physical therapists with advanced credentials, but their hospitality, passion, and enthusiasm is what makes the difference for you. Find our convenient locations at premierptsp.com.
You may have tried physical therapy,
But have you tried Premier?
How you doing? My name's Mike Cassidy. I'm the founder and president of Cassidy Painting. I started back in 1984, incorporated in 1986. I never had the word no in my vocabulary. When someone called me to do a job, I always said yes. Whether it was a struggle, whether it was 7 days a week, sun up to sundown, it didn't matter. And with that philosophy, we were able to grow to the size we are. We employ close to 80 individuals.
We really enjoy being in the family business. I look forward to coming to work every day, and it's so nice to work with the people that we work with in the office. We've really become a family with them. We really create a family experience around here.
Cassidy Painting is a very diversified company. We don't say no to anything. We deal with everything from epoxy floors to painting buildings to spray foam insulation, spray fireproofing. If it deals with a coating, we can handle it. So when our customers call and they're under the gun and they know the need to get a job done, they know who to call because we perform. We've always been performed. We've never been replaced out of 37 years of business. For any of your painting needs, we can handle it.
First State Orthopedics has 46 physicians and 22 physician's assistants at 16 locations across the state of Delaware. We provide both surgical and non-surgical treatment for a variety of orthopedic conditions, are specially trained in current state-of-the-art techniques. We serve as team physicians for over 20 high schools, Wilmington University, and many local recreational and competitive leagues. Our doctors are readily available to all local emergency departments, medical aid units, and urgent care centers for consultation and treatment. Give us a call today at 302-731-2888 or visit us online at firststateortho.com.
Your home, your community. It's not just where you live, it's where you belong. At Dover Federal Credit Union, we understand what it means to be local. We started here, and we're not going anywhere. We're as local as it gets, and we like it that way. We're not just a financial institution, we are the local credit union that you can trust. Local people, local decisions. Dover Federal Credit Union.
Hi, I'm Scott Kammerer from Soto Concepts. Today we're at Matt's Fish Camp in Fenwick Island, Delaware. Come check us out. Matt's Fish Camp features seafood classics, coastal comfort food, and chef-driven specials that pair perfectly with our large selection of craft ales, curated wine list, and camp cocktails. Matt's offers indoor and outdoor dining and is the perfect place to have dinner with your family, happy hour with friends, or enjoy lunch at the Raw Bar. Matt's Fish Camp in Fenwick Island, Delaware, open 7 days a week year-round. See you soon.
Wraps, signs, banners, and promotional items that can help your business stand out from the rest. Looking for an excellent way to convey a professional image? Customized promotional products are the perfect way to target new customers, increase employee retention, and boost your brand awareness. Let the professionals at Cassidy Graphics bring your advertising ideas to life. Give them a call today at 302-326-2412. Again, that number is 302-326-2412. Again, Cassidy Graphics brings your advertising ideas to life.
I would always pass by Ferris on Kirkwood Highway, so I knew that they existed. We stopped in the showroom.
And welcome back courtside to William Penn High School here in Newcastle for a site of a top 7 battle between the number 7 ranked Colonials and the number 2 ranked St. Elizabeth Vikings. Nick Alessandrini alongside the coach Bill Harmon, Jason Winchell, our producer, Nick Halliday and Mike Lang, your camera operators today. As we head to the third, 27-24, coach, the Colonials up by 3. It was an Elijah Coates buzzer beater at the end of the second that gave William Penn this 3-point lead as we start the third. And what stood out to you there in the first half? What are you looking for maybe particularly here in half number 2?
Well, I was impressed, as I mentioned at the end of the first half, with how hard William Penn played, and they did a great job ultimately of defending their defensive glass. Number 2, they were able to penetrate and attack into the lane and get some easy baskets there. Their defense was solid. They did a nice job of defending the perimeter at times, a couple offensive rebounds. Nixon hit a couple shots. But I think so far, emphasis on the speed that the Colonials have played at versus the Vikings. A few better shots. If St. Elizabeth slows down a little bit and their shot selection improves, I think you'll see a really good effort by them in the second half. But Webb's been a big factor here in the first half for William Penn, as well as the youth movement by both teams.
Offensive foul to get started against Webb. I believe they're going to say use the offhand, and a foul hit against, Zaire Gibson to get the game started here in the third quarter. We'll get you now. It's going to be starters on the floor here for both teams here to start the second half.
And Shipman had the call there, one of the officials who's done a great job throughout his career. His son was a spectacular player at Middletown in the early 2000s.
Baseline was open. Price couldn't finish it. A nice leave by Holden. It'll stay down this side of the floor, tipped out of bounds by the Colonials.
That's a play you see more and more happening. You'll drive down the open side, and then the corner player, because they use the corner so much now for three-point shooting, has that baseline backdoor effort.
Hunter just couldn't get it to go. Was right in on the basket. Then a miscommunication in the backcourt by the Colonials, but fortunately, if you're a William Penn fan, they will retain possession.
And that's unusual. Hunter usually is so good about finishing around the basket. He's physical, he's experienced, he knows which hand to use. Just happened to miss that one, going a little too fast horizontally.
Again, tough game for him on Saturday, but the Vikings were still able to pull that win out down the stretch. Just shows you there's a lot of other talent there on that roster as well. Catch and shoot for Gibson for three. No good. Webb trying to get the rebound. Tipped around the out of bounds. Last touched by St. Elizabeth. So William Penn with another chance.
Couple of loose ball rebounds that neither team has really been able to secure. If you're a rebounder in traffic, you've got to take not only your hands there, but your body. And so many players like to reach. If you take your body there, the chance of securing that rebound is going to be much better.
They'll get it into Gibson. As we are a minute into the third, they're going to go to Webb. Webb one-on-one, turns, fires, and hits.
Webb at 6'4" has the ability to turn, face up at the basket, not use a jump hook, and square and make that shot. He's really playing at a high level.
Price lets the defender come by, no whistle. He'll have his own rebound, goes up strong, and then the second time he'll get it. The foul once again against Gibson. Gonna have to check in and confirm how many fouls he has. It's, again, just the second he's picked up since the start of the third in the last minute.
Impressive play there by Price. What I liked was he attacked on the baseline. He pulled up short. He used a shot fake. He missed the first shot, but because he was in great position to get the offensive rebound, he resecures it, fakes again, and then got Gibson reaching down with his hand. So a really smart play by the sophomore. Another young player in this game.
It is crazy when you look up
Freshmen,
and down.
sophomores. If you're a senior, you're like an unbelievably wily vet.
That's right. It is an abundance of youth on the floor. 1 of 2 from the line for Price. He split a pair in the first. He'll split his pair here in the third. And now a 4-point deficit for the Vikings as the Colonials will have it back.
William Penn runs some really nice stuff on offense. They get a lot of motion off the ball. They do some back screening.
That shot off the mark on the three by Whitaker. But as Coach mentioned, a few open looks there potentially. Just shot didn't go.
But with their size advantage, especially with Webb and Gibson, I'm a little surprised they're not trying to go inside a little bit more often. Not necessarily in a post-up, but that mid-range post-up that they used at the foul line was successful once with Webb. You need to try to exploit it a little bit differently. They have not shot the ball particularly well from long range.
Yeah, both teams, again, haven't gone inside too much. As we know, St. Elizabeth's more of a smaller team. But, yeah, William Penn does have some height there today with the addition of those two guys here in the last few weeks. Nixon Jr. trapped up out on the perimeter. Got to find somewhere to go, and he'll get bailed out on the foul there by Riley Garlick on the far side of the floor.
Nixon, a pretty capable ball handler, ends up with it in front of the St. East bench. He's trying to drive, and then Garlick just kind of got his body a little too close, as I mentioned before. Find an angle to cut a player off. Don't keep riding him and bumping him. That'll lead to a foul.
Third personal against the freshman Riley Garlick. He'll stay in the game. Nixon going to get called that time for the offhand. A very savvy when he's able to get downhill, but that time just a little bit too much exposure with that elbow.
Well, he's very quick, though. He talk about a good first step. He exhibited that there with the right hand. They cleared out for him. That was an isolation play on the left side. Just got a little too greedy with that inside arm pushing off.
Steven Nixon Jr., a game-high 9, tied alongside Zaire Gibson, who also has 9 for William Penn. Here's Webb. And great anticipation by Alexander to the basket. Kyan Alexander, and a rare miss for the sophomore who's so phenomenal around the rim. Ramirez Velez getting downhill, no good. Webb trying to come and help out on the rebound, but he couldn't get it to go either. So both teams unable to cash in.
Ramirez Velez did a nice job of penetrating, but he got so close to the basket he was off balance and wasn't able to get that shot up under control, as was Alexander at the other end, just playing too fast, not controlling his body well enough to get up directly to the rim with a little bit of pressure on him.
Nixon Jr. lets Webb go by. He left his feet to the defender, and Nixon Jr. off the glass.
I like the pace that Nixon plays at. He's got his body under control, does a good job of identifying where the defenders are, and can finish very creatively.
Here's Webb one-on-one with Hunter. Whitaker around the screen, has room from the mid-range. Good look, shot too strong. Alexander spinning, nice look, but a travel on the spin move. And Coach, that's been a topic of discussion for us here for the last couple of years. You got some officials that, again, will call that travel as soon as they see the spin get into motion, and then others will let it play out. But for the most part, it's hard to complete a spin move here in the first 8. We've heard from the officials. They said if it was done correctly, it would be a no call, but I've seen a few that look pretty good to me. What do you think about that? It's a controversial topic.
It is, but to me, it's the same call as you make on the Euro. And I'm not sure why it's different, why they interpret it differently.
Nixon Jr. with the steal. Can he turn it into points? No, contact on the other end. Holden with his 4th offensive rebound of the game, but a whistle and a travel going to negate that shot.
I give Deshaun Holden a lot of credit. He is a pretty tough rebounder. Goes in there against the big bodies. We had bodies on the floor. He has a really uncanny way of coming up with the basketball in some difficult situations. A really tough ball player. And remember, he's only a freshman.
That's right. And we are here in the 3rd, halfway through almost. Catch and shoot for Gibson off of the handoff. No good on that 3 attempt. Has a few tonight.
St. Elizabeth choose to go behind the dribble handoff, and that's what allows that shot to look like it's open, but it is from long range, and you have a little bit more trouble getting your body turned on that particular maneuver on that side of the court.
Nixon crossing over to the basket. Some contact, gonna let him play. Shot won't go. Now it's the Colonials the other direction. 2-on-1 and finished off by Elijah Coates.
Boy, Coates is so quick with the ball. Nice little underhanded shot, almost like a bowling shot.
Price, no hesitation, quickly down the other side of the floor looking for the 3. Nixon Jr. with the heads-up play. That might keep it down that side of the floor, and it does. Nice play by Steven Nixon Jr., but a quick shot on this end from the Vikings from Robert Price.
Well, that's one thing that I think Mike Cassidy likes his team to do. They want to push it in transition. They'll take shots because they know they have a high probability of getting a lot of offensive rebounds.
Kenneth Hunter downhill and +1, and there goes the leading scorer for St. Elizabeth. See if that can get him going. He got downhill, had it on the floor, and able to finish with the finger roll.
When Hunter is on the left side of the court from an offensive perspective, you have to force him to the baseline to his left hand. He's capable with his left hand, but he is explosive with his right hand. That time got down into the middle of the lane and scores. He is a really good player, and I like that about Hunter. I think at times he understands, hey, I'm not shooting as well from the outside. I'm going to change my game up. I'm going to drive it, try to get fouled, and see the ball go in different ways.
In comes Caden Harris for St. Elizabeth. 3-point play completed for Kenneth Hunter. He's now got 7. And for the first time in one of the quarters today, 5 fouls for William Penn, so a team already in the bonus the rest of the way here in the 3rd as the steal unable to be completed there by Harris.
This is the kind of game that St. Elizabeth wants to make it. A little bit unruly in the full court. Nixon there got his hand in, couldn't get both hands on the steal, but poked it away and it just got out of bounds on him. But I tell you what, when they can play you in a full court game and pick you up, get stability where they can set up their press, they are really difficult to deal with. They speed you up, and if you aren't really controlled and thinking, hey, I'm going to run this pace at my speed, they will blow you out.
And that's what, again, happened down the stretch against Dover. It was Dover that caused a lot of the turnovers early. Faking the pass, going to take the shot beyond the arc, no good. Rebound to Harris, and he's bumped into Whittlesley, who, again, is another fresh name. Excuse me, we have a different call here. Coach, did you see what happened on that one?
They called it travel as
gotcha.
Whittlesley came in to contest the rebound. St. Elizabeth just moved a little too quickly before getting their pivot foot setting or getting the ball down on the floor.
So Whittlesley now will inbound for William Penn under the basket. 3:26 and a 1-point lead for the Colonials. Garlick back in the game for Penn. He's got 3 fouls. Webb off a screen. They get him free from the free throw line, and he buries one.
Webb is really good in the mid-range. His shot's a little flat, but I'll tell you what, it's very accurate, and he elevates where no one can affect his shot.
Into double figures goes Andy Webb. He's got 10 off with a dribble. Nothing but net for Caden Harris, who pulls up and knocks it down.
That was strictly one-on-one basketball. A crossover dribble, created a little bit of separation, rose up into the mid-range.
Got a good one. 33-32 here late in the 3rd at William Penn. Garlick with the ball in his hands, gives off to Webb. And that one thrown away. Miscommunication there as Webb and Gibson will have a word with each other.
Well, not only was miscommunication, it was just a really tough angle. They were posting up Gibson on the left side, and Webb's pass came from the top side, so he had no angle to throw it. It wasn't a high-low situation.
William Penn looking for their first lead of the 3rd quarter. It rolled around and rattled out there for Alexander on the floater. The tie-up, though, going to keep the possession down this side with the Vikings. 2:31 to go here, quarter number 3.
Though Alexander has missed some shots that I think he feels typically he should make. Did a nice job there of staying with his miss. He knew where it was going to be missed to and ends up helping out with the tie-up on the rebounder.
St. E's inbound and Nixon Jr., who gets it into Hunter. Hunter with that right hand gets to the free throw line. Quick trigger with the floater. Tough shot. Almost went, but off the back end of the iron. Now a trap here in the backcourt. William Penn able to at least beat it for the moment. Going to have to get it past half court. And they do.
Well, St. Elizabeth will try to tie you up at the defensive end or continue to press if it avails them.
Whittlesley contested jumper there. His first points of the game. And a foul on the baseline. Nixon Jr. trying to elevate past Johnson, who's into the ball game for the first time today, giving William Penn some size underneath, some more size, I guess I should say, and he'll get called for the foul there.
And he's a big man. Not only is he 6'4", but he looks like he's got a football-type body out there. Came in as the second blocker, but just caught Nixon with his body. I'm really impressed with how hard Nixon plays. He's very formidable around the basket. We know he can shoot the three. He's good in the open court, but boy, I'll tell you what, he puts the ball on the floor, he can get to almost wherever he wants.
He's always going 110% is Steven Nixon Jr. Able to knock down a pair, and just like that, 35-34. William Penn leading by 1 here at home. Here's the freshman, Riley Garlick. He'll give it back out to Jabir Johnson. Whittlesley got the jab step. He'll get called for a travel, and we see that a lot.
Well, the ball got stuck on the left side. Riley Garlick tried to drive in and probe. One thing that St. Elizabeth does defensively, when you present them with a ball screen, they're almost always going to switch that. So you've got to have a plan when you go in against them. If you're going to use a lot of ball screens, you better know how to attack the switching defense.
138 and ticking, walked up by Kyan Alexander here in the third, 35-34. Alexander, good defense on the drive by Aaron Whitaker, who blocks it, sends it out of play.
Well, that time Alexander rejected the ball screen. That meant he went away from the side that it was set, and a lot of players will do that. You've got to know that, and as a defending team, you've got to send the ball towards the screen.
Hunter will control it here for the Vikings, one-on-one with Jabir Johnson. He'll take the big man on the baseline, and he lost the ball and turns it over.
Well, they were trying to isolate Hunter here on the right side. I don't think they were totally organized there, and then Hunter just over-dribbles it, creates the turnover.
Quick timeout, 30 seconds for Coach Cassidy and St. Elizabeth. Again, thanks for tuning in here to 302 Sports Plus on a Tuesday evening, a top 7 battle between number 7 William Penn coming into the contest at 3-5, taking on number 2 ranked St. Elizabeth's 8-1. As Coach mentioned earlier in the broadcast, only loss coming to out-of-state St. Francis. Again, they were down 15 in that game against Dover on Saturday. They're able to battle back and get that win late against Steven Nixon Jr. Had 20 points in that one. A big game for him, was the player of the game. But you talked about the pressure. They applied it early. They tried to sped the game up. It worked for them late. They forced some turnovers, able to knock down some big shots. And again, coming into this season, or I guess coming into this game, St. Elizabeth's averaging 7 threes a game. And again, they hit a few big ones down the stretch on Saturday, but not as big of a part of their game here so far tonight.
Well, they clearly want to shoot the three. They're good at it. They have extended range on shooters. And you were talking about the record of St. Elizabeth. The 5 losses by William Penn are all to high-quality teams, and they played some people really tough. Lost to West Philly by 4, Apple by 2, Sanford by 2, 67-65 in a very exciting game. So this team is much better than its record because of the difficult schedule they've played.
Garlick turns it over. Now it's Holden the other way. They're going to get contact and a foul. So free throws coming up for the freshman, Deshaun Holden, with 1:02 to go here in the third. Again, William Penn still leading 35-34 in this one. Just 1-3 so far in the game for St. Elizabeth's, a rarity.
And that's been a part of good defense and maybe
Absolutely.
some questionable shot selection and maybe just being a little bit off here. I have no idea if these teams were able to practice yesterday.
That's a
It was
good
the
point.
Martin Luther King holiday. Every school was out, and of course they well should be. Now, whether they got in with the snow and the ice, I'm not sure.
That's a good question. As Holden knocks down the free throw, was big down the stretch for St. E's on Saturday as well. Again, some of these young guys growing up quickly over there for the Vikings.
I think Holden has already grown up. He does not play like a freshman.
That is absolutely right.
And last year he didn't play as an eighth grader either.
I remember we sat up there last year and you had Alexander as a freshman and Holden as an 8th grader. You're going, man, look at these two guys, and already improving drastically just a year removed from what we saw last season.
Really good genetics there, Nick.
2-2 from the line for the freshman, and just like that, St. E's has their first lead since about halfway through quarter number 2 here.
And when they score, they can get their defense set, and that allows them to apply more pressure.
Harris poked it out from behind. Now Alexander trying to leak ahead of the back. Gets it up quickly. Couldn't finish. Again, Alexander, unlike him today, has missed a few at the rim where he's so good. And now William Penn going to have to try to get this past half court. Here's the freshman Riley Garlick, and they just do it. And it's now going to be in the corner. That 3 is up. Short, tough shot. Webb has his own rebound, and he'll finish it himself on the baseline.
Well, that's why you teach players to close out, contest the shot, but don't run by. Webb was able to follow his own shot up because he had no one in front of him.
Alexander knocks down the 3 in the corner as he hits the bleachers. And he'll have a chance at the ever-rare 4-point play. It was the drive and pass from Kenneth Hunter on the baseline to finding Alexander moving with some momentum as he caught and shoot in the corner. And he was fouled, took some contact, and buried the 3. As we mentioned, just the second 3 of the game for St. E's, but a big one as we wind down the 3rd.
Alexander's got a really quick release. He is always shot ready, and he is fearless. Oh, he's missed some shots that I think he probably normally feels he would make. He comes right back at you, whether it's a layup or a long-range 3. Absorbed a big hit over there and then gets to the free throw line and knocks it down like it was nothing. Nice play by the sophomore.
4-point possession. How about that in the last minute? A big swing. William Penn now down 40-37. St. E's up by 3. And final shot coming here for the Colonials. 10 seconds and ticking. Here's Whitaker. 7 seconds. Backs down, Hunter on the block, gets inside, and there was a foul. It was on Nixon Jr. as he got him through the arms. The old Embiid go up with it, and the arm was there to wrap it up.
Well, at that point, I think that Whitaker was off balance and probably wasn't going to get up a very good shot attempt. And there you have to have, we talk about so much offensive discipline. You've got to have defensive discipline as well. You've got to know when to go for a shot block. You've got to go when to close up on a man. And that time, I think, giving Whitaker a little bit more room would have probably resulted in a miss.
Knocks down the first free throw. He'll have another. And we'll see. As a quick word with the officials before the second free throw. It's up and around and out. So a shot here coming potentially for St. E's. 2 seconds. Nixon from half court. It won't go. And just like that, we're heading to the 4th. A nice final minute and a half for St. Elizabeth's if they get a few big plays, a 4-point one from Kyan Alexander, and they take a 2-point lead into the 4th, 40-38. When we come back, it's 4th quarter action here from Newcastle. Taking you on the floor here at William Penn High School. Great crowd for a top 7 matchup between the Colonials and the Vikings. Moments away of getting the 4th underway here in Newcastle. Nick Allison journey alongside the coach Bill Harmon. Jason Winchell to our right. Nick Halliday and Mike Lang, your camera operators. 40-38 after a nice swing for the Vikings at the end of the 3rd. See if William Penn can get some of that momentum back here in the 4th at home. But, Coach, what have you seen so far as we begin the 4th? St. E's now with a 2-point lead here.
Well, I was really impressed with St. Elizabeth's ability to come back from being down in that quarter and get some really good shots. Nixon really leads them, but how about Alexander at the end of the quarter? A really huge 4-point play.
And we'll see if St. E's again coming in averaging 7 threes a year, only 2 so far. We'll see maybe if they get closer to that average here in the fourth quarter. Holden, a little hesitation on the baseline. Can he finish it? No, would have been a tough finish. Riley Garlick, the freshman, bring it up. He's got 3 fouls, gets inside, so good as he gets downhill at such a young age, but that time loses it on the way up.
Well, he plays at a great pace, and he has not gotten flustered here. He averages about 13 points a game. He only has 6, I believe, through 3 quarters. But he doesn't let that affect his game, and that's what I look at a lot of players. Does their lack of offense or having a bad night not allow them to play hard on the defensive end? And he plays hard at both ends.
Yes, he does, and we have a stoppage down there. Out there, Alexander misses the 3. But 3 fouls for Riley Garlick today, so battling foul trouble here a little bit early on, but okay now with the 3 here in the fourth. And the Vikings have it now to inbound up by 2.
A little space out of bounds there with the ball on the baseline there. They get some movement. A lot of 5-out motion by St. Elizabeth. They're looking for these one-on-one isolation opportunities, and they love to take advantage of baseline drives.
Get it now to Hunter in the corner. He likes to go to work on that baseline. One-on-one with Webb, trying to take him. Jump shot is good. Tough shot fading away for Kenneth Hunter Jr.
What a incredibly tough shot. He created a little bit of bump with his inside forearm that gave him space from Webb, and then he completes that really difficult mid-range shot along the baseline.
Whitaker lost it in the corner. Alexander trying to put some pressure on him. Knocked out of bounds by the Vikings. Will stay down that side.
What's also impressive about St. Elizabeth, even though they're not particularly big, last year they had more size. Hunter's their biggest player. They rebound as a collective quite well at both ends.
Tie up here between Whitaker and Kyan Alexander. The freshman and the sophomore going at it there, battling again. A lot of young guys on the floor here in this one.
Alexander probably feels like he's a veteran compared to Coates and Riley Garlick.
At inbound stolen. It's going to lead to an open shot. Nice feed from Nixon Jr. back to Holden, who gets down and knocks down the floater.
Well, the play was made by Nixon. Initially, they pushed it ahead. Holden back to Nixon. Go ahead, Nick.
As they steal the inbound. And now another opportunity for St. Elizabeth.
Well, Nixon did a really good job of sharing the ball, creating some space for Holden to attack into the mid-range.
On here is Nixon Jr. Got downhill, able to stop that dribble, hand it off to his teammate, scooping and scoring. How about that one underneath from Kenneth Hunter Jr., who's starting to get going here as we have a timeout on the floor. We'll stay right here as Nick takes you inside the huddle of the Vikings. 46-38. What a run for St. E's as they close the third, and they begin it right here in the fourth.
Well, they are a team of runs, and if you are not ready to repulse 1 or 2 of those, they can open up a 2-point lead into a 12-point lead literally in a minute. What I loved about that play, Nixon went in, had some fancy footwork in the lane, knew he couldn't get it off. He found Hunter underneath, and then Nixon very quickly left the lane himself. You don't see that. A lot of players linger in the lane. He stepped out to avoid the 3-second call. A really smart play by Nixon. Also a really nice pocket pass that allowed the score by Hunter.
And Kenneth Hunter Jr., as we talked about, coming in averaging 20 a game, getting going here in the second half. Had 4 in the first half. He's got 7 here in the second half to give him 11. 2 big buckets already for him here to start the fourth quarter. And now the largest lead of the game belongs to the Vikings here on the road. They lead by 8, 46-38. 6 minutes to go. Coach for William Penn, what do you got to do now to kind of settle things down and get right back into this one?
Well, I think they've got to run some things through that middle post area to Webb. He's been very effective in there. You can drive it. He can rebound from there. He's got that mid-range shot. They've taken some unauthorized shots, but really at the other end, they've got to do a better job defensively. Early on, I thought they presented themselves quite well in front of the drivers. Now St. Elizabeth has been getting into places that they shouldn't be getting against a team like William Penn, who is so quick.
It'll be Gibson, Coates, Riley, Garlick, Whitaker, and Webb on the floor here for Penn. It'll be Holden, Alexander, Harris. As the 3 is up for Whitaker, it was a good look. No good. Rebound brought in by Webb. First shot won't go. The second shot will go. Are they going to count it? They will. +1 for Webb underneath. And out of the timeout for Coach Lumpkin's squad. A big chance at a 3-point play.
A long-range shot that William Penn's just got to run down, and Webb had himself perfectly positioned on the weak side of the block there and able to secure the rebound. He's the biggest player out on the court. He plays long. He's got long arms, a quick jumper. did a really nice job of getting himself in great offensive rebound position.
Knocks down the free throw. 15 points for Andy Webb, a game high.
A little bit of pressure here from William Penn. This isn't a big trapping defense. They like to harass you and hope for a turnover by bad play.
Nice pass by Nixon to Hunter on the baseline. Instead, they'll retreat and pull it back out.
And here's what makes it so difficult to guard St. Elizabeth. They have 5 players that can score and 5 players that can dribble. Unfortunately, they're a turnover by Alexander.
Numbers for Penn, 3-on-2. Riley Garlick to the basket.
Boy, is Garlick savvy around the basket. Used a shot fake there and a little twirling move to get himself creatively open.
And just like that, from an 8-point lead to a 3-point lead, a 5-0 run for Penn out of the timeout.
How about Coach Lumpkin's timeout? Really smartly. Some coaches who are great players just have a wonderful feel for when to use their timeouts.
Hunter, open 3 from the corner, wouldn't go, and now a chance to tie here for Penn. 4:48 and ticking, 46-43. Whittlesley kicks back out. Gibson for 3, no good, but Webb down the lane for the offensive rebound. Shot won't count, but a foul on the loose ball.
Webb does a great job of tracking the rebound. He gets his eyes on the shot. He knows where his teammates, if they miss, are going to miss too, and he's very good about taking his body to the rebound.
Gibson inbound under the basket for William Penn. Looking for somewhere to go. They'll get it into Whitaker. Back to Riley Garlick in the post. A hop step, but they're going to call a tie-up, and that's going to give possession back to St. Elizabeth's.
Well, Riley Garlick.
And now we have a discussion, and it will stay with the Vikings. Sorry.
Riley Garlick had Alexander, a shorter player, on him, and they were trying to post him up. The lob pass was just thrown a little too far.
Nice catch there from Holden, was coming right at us. Vikings trying to make this a 2-possession game. On the baseline, and a whistle and a foul, and Gibson not happy about it, as Hunter going to head to the free throw line to try to continue his great second half.
Well, Zaire Gibson better be careful there. You get too demonstrative after a call that you don't like that goes against you. If you overact it out, the officials are going to call a technical. I thought he was very fortunate there. The drive by Hunter along the baseline, and we mentioned earlier in the show, he loves to drive baselines, especially the left side. He's good with both hands. They sent multiple shot blockers at him. All you have to do is fake, and you're going to get 2 people up in the air instead of just one. As a smart defensive player, if you're on the ball, don't worry about the block. Let the man coming from the weak side or away from the vision of the player make the block.
9 points in the second half, 13 for the game for Kenneth Hunter Jr. Lead back to 5 now here for the Vikings.
They're trying to isolate Alexander inside, this time with Whitaker.
Gibson trying to get downhill against a great defender, and Harris, and he got it! +1 as he was knocked faded away from the basket.
I have no idea how Gibson got that ball up to the basket. I mean, the ball was down at his hip. That's where the foul occurred, and that old man strength, being a senior versus all these young players, was able to get the ball through that contact and up where he could get an opportunity for a 3-point play.
9 points in the first half for Gibson, was held scoreless in the third quarter, and now his first bucket of the fourth, and we have a whistle. They're going to wave it off because Riley Garlick crashed in the lane, and I guess he was a little early, and that's a big point that's going to be removed off the board there for Penn.
Now, it's where he came in from, and as a rebounder in today's game with the rules, the shot leaves the hand, you can enter the lane, but not from outside it, and he was outside it further, and I think that's what created the call. Because on release, you can enter, but the shooter cannot cross the line.
Holden bumped by Whitaker. Going to go against a foul here against the freshman Aaron Whitaker. It will be the second team foul against William Penn. Just 3 team fouls against St. Elizabeth's here in the fourth. And again, Riley Garlick, the only one. There was nobody in the lane for William Penn on that free throw. And now under 4 to go, a 3-point game as Alexander holds it here for St. E's.
Well, Alexander again rejected the ball screen on the left side of the court with his left hand and tries that left-handed floater, a really tough shot.
Gibson racing down the lane and able to finish.
Gibson used an underhand shot on the left side of the court, really good at finishing with different angles.
We'll see what they call here, and I think they called offensive foul. Robert Price on the baseline will get whistled for it. And he's going to ask the official what happened, and now Harris is going to come into the game for him. or he'll have to head back to the scores table and re-enter. But a turnover there for the Vikings, a big one, who lead by 1, 48-47 with 3.5 to go. William Penn now going to get the ball back.
Well, sometimes you want to attack fast. Other times you want to be a little bit more resourceful, bring the ball out, get to the free throw line, create some foul situations. It's just the exuberance, the youthful exuberance that occurs sometimes, just trying to play a little too fast.
Full court pressure applied here by St. E's as they get it into Whittlesey.
Now, this is not their real full court pressure where they're trying to turn you. They're just up there to bother you.
And Alexander and Whitaker have been going at it. Now we're going to have a whistle and a foul near the William Penn bench, and they're going to get Alexander.
Now, it's an emotional game, but it's so important as a player, especially in these big moments, that you control yourself. Now, it's up to Coach Cassidy here to bring him over, talk to him a little bit. Sometimes coaches will bring you out just to kind of cool you down for a second. I think because of the gravity of the moment, he's going to leave Alexander down in the game. And also Alexander, even though he's a young player, has been around and played in a lot of big games. But you've just got to be able to contain your emotions and not allow it to overcome the moment and get the other team to the free throw line.
Tied up after the first free throw was the 5th team foul against St. E's. That put Whitaker on the line. And they're going to be in the bonus the rest of the way. Both free throws good, and just like that, Coach William Penn regains the lead with 3:26 to go, 49-48. And as we mentioned, that's going to be 5 fouls here against St. E's. So the final 3.5 they'll be shooting. Only 2 team fouls for William Penn.
Talk about resiliency. How about William Penn's ability to come back? We spoke earlier about that timeout that Coach Lumpkin took, and they've certainly been a different team out of that. And that's really an art form. A lot of people think it's a science to coaching. There is, but the art is understanding the situations, having a feel for the game, knowing when to use your timeouts, knowing your team well enough to know how they're going to react out of it. And he obviously did a great job of calming his team down, getting them refocused, and they've played excellent ball since that timeout.
Yes, they have. Battling back, they were down 5 a minute or so ago, and now they lead by 1. But St. E's down the stretch against Dover, able to pull that one out. You talked about the heat. They had a technical late in that game that I thought was really going to hurt them for St. E's in the final minute of the game. Big technical, got a little emotional, as you talked about. Got to keep those emotions in check, and they've been able to do it so far tonight, and they were able to survive that one on Saturday. Again, you got to tell me this very high-energy team here in St. E's. They're down by 1 here. Intercepted. Whittlesey jumped the pass. Whittlesey blocked at the rim, and a foul on Caden Harris. So the block won't stand as he got him with the body, and now free throws coming.
A really nice play by Whittlesey to read that pass. You were trying to pass out of the difficulty over there as he threw it back across. You've always got to read the defense as a passer, not where your offensive player was. Lost track of Whittlesey, who shot the gap, really did a great job of attacking down the full length of the court. And I like the play by Harris. He goes up to try to contest the shot. Even if he gets the foul, at least he's not allowing the ball to go through the basket. You've got to make the free throws.
1 of 2, rebound to St. E's.
And I'm surprised that William Penn didn't fill the lane there and at least getting potential offensive rebounders in.
Under 3 to go, 2-point lead for William Penn at home over the visiting second-ranked St. E. Vikings. Hunter's been the hot hand here in the second half. Nixon Jr., he's trying to get back to work. Inside, couldn't finish amongst the trees.
Well, a good job by Webb inside to get that rebound, keep the ball away from the tie-up, and exit the ball out.
Whittlesey hands off to Whitaker. Nixon Jr. too aggressive out near half court. And he'll get whistled for the foul, and now more free throws coming up for Penn.
And that's where, as a defensive player, you really got to know the time score situation. Way too early to be fouling. Let them play through it. William Penn has not shown the proclivity to hold the ball, so they'll probably drive it. So why foul at 45 feet away from the basket unless you just know game plan-wise this is a free throw shooter that you want to foul?
Whitaker missing the first there, made his last 2. He's 3 of 5 from the line tonight with another one on the way. Yeah, Nixon Jr. a little too aggressive there, and splitting a pair is Whitaker. 4 of 6 tonight from the free throw line for the freshman Whitaker.
Be interesting to see what St. Elizabeth runs here. They've been doing 5 out, a lot of motion. They do rely on some ball screening actions to try to free up their guards to penetrate.
Alexander hopping down the lane, can't score. Now William Penn's got it on the run. Riley Garlick inside from the block, can't finish, tipped out of bounds, and will go to the Vikings. And a big job there by St. Elizabeth to prevent the points there in transition.
Well, you're up 3, you're in the bonus. I'm not sure there you should attack so vehemently. Maybe withdraw the ball and let the clock run a little bit, though I thought that Riley Garlick got bunt on the shot as he went up. Didn't get the call, and so you can't make a decision that might not happen. So you're better off, let the clock run, see how St. Elizabeth is going to defend you in that situation.
Here we go, approaching the 2-minute mark here in the fourth. A one-possession, 51-48 game. St. E's down by 3, trailing to William Penn. Nixon Jr. dribbling out of control, almost lost it, and I think he did, and that's going to be a double dribble.
Just trying to play too aggressively through some pretty good defense there. I thought that was the right call. The trail official, Mike Sneed, had a perfect angle to make that adjudication. Sometimes you over-dribble the zealousness of trying to score and make a play for your team. I understand that. But get some clearance. They've had success when they've reversed the ball a few times and then driven. That time the defense was set, and a nice play by William Penn to create the turnover.
Full timeout on the floor here. We'll stay here as we take you inside the huddle for William Penn and Coach Lumpkin. Give you an inside look at what the Colonials are up to. 1:56 remaining on the clock. 51-48, a one-possession game. We've been back and forth the whole first half, and then St. E's able to grab the lead, and then William Penn down the stretch taking it back. Again, what's been kind of the biggest takeaway for you so far in this one? I know it's been a high-paced game here between these two teams, a little out of control at certain times, but we've seen some flashes from both, and it's been a great game.
I think it's been the William Penn ability to play through some bad stretches and to have a recovery when St. Elizabeth has opened up that lead. It takes a very determined team to do that. You can't panic. You've got to go back to what you're good at, and I think they did. They rebounded the ball well. They got the ball to Webb. They attacked in a little bit closer, stopped relying on the three-point shots, and so far that's been rewarded. Now we got a long way to go. The good news is for William Penn, they've got a couple fouls to give. They're in the bonus already, and the possession arrow is with them.
So William Penn will be Whitaker, Gibson, Whittlesley, Riley, Garlick, and Webb. For St. E's, it's going to be Harris in for defensive purposes, Nixon Jr., Alexander, Holden, and then Hunter there on the floor. And how about this one? The Vikings steal it away. Holden, is he going to finish? He does. Uncontested at the basket, 51-50.
Well, the problem is Whitaker put the ball over his head, and Nixon poked it away to Holden, who's able to finish. So in a trapping situation, or when you know the team is going to take the ball, try to take the ball away from him, you've got to have it secured.
And Alexander takes this one away. Back-to-back steals out of the timeout, then a foul against Webb. And just like that, right out of the break in the next 15 seconds, a big swing, and St. Elizabeth's a chance to tie and take the lead.
This is where the game, to me, gets very interesting. Alexander knew he had a much bigger player on him. And there are 3 ways you attack a shot blocker in that case. I'm not sure which maneuver he used. He kind of ran into him. I thought he was being as much of the aggressor as Webb was, trying to backpedal and get out of his way. But Alexander, for a sophomore, is pretty savvy in his body usage. And I think he almost created that opportunity by not overacting it out, but by trying to draw some contact to a moving big man.
Knocks down the first. We're all tied at 51. Another one on the way for the sophomore. He buries it, lead back to the Vikings. Timeout on the floor.
Boy, does he have a very confident foul shot stroke.
Same rotation every time there. Same movement for Alexander, who's been great down the stretch again. And St. E's finding ways to come up with 2 steals in the last 30 seconds, and they turn them into points. Almost as if, it's clutch time. What do you need to do? Well, they did it. Able to come away with 2 steals out near half court, and William Penn not really able to get into any offense at all there in the half court in his last 2 possessions.
Well, they did the right thing by having the ball in the middle of the court, but then they were just careless with the ball positioning over their head and then another time on a pass. So you've got to know how you want to attack in the last minutes of a game. Spread them out, get into some sort of 4 corners delay, especially with the foul situation as it was and the arrow favoring them and with timeouts. Turnovers are much like football, as we saw over the weekend. Obviously, in basketball, you're going to have more than you would in a football game, but understanding the gravity of the moment. Some turnovers are worse than others. A turnover that leads directly to a basket or a foul opportunity, way worse than a dead ball turnover. And those were the two turnovers there that were created by St. Elizabeth's that led directly to baskets and points.
And that's what they did against the Senators on Saturday down the stretch. Was able to turn them over, turn those into points in transition. They love to play fast. And how about that? 2 steals in the last 20 seconds that have turned into 4 points, and now a 1-point lead for the Vikings.
St. Elizabeth's just going to show some man-to-man here. It's really only with the 2-point guards.
Gibson sees an opening, and he goes right to the basket as St. E's not ready for him.
Well, Gibson has really taken advantage of some driving lanes here this afternoon and into the early evening. He's explosive and can finish because of his athletic ability.
Lead back to William Penn, 53-52. Hunter been hot in the second half to the baseline. A little out of control on that shot. He missed it. Garlick launching it down the floor to Gibson. Can he finish again? He does. And what a 4-point swing out of the timeout for Coach Lumpkin.
Huge play by Garlick. A great pass to Gibson.
Alexander, the 3, quick trigger for the sophomore, couldn't get it to go, and now it's Webb out of the head of the pack. Andy Webb with the foul, and he'll shoot free throws, and now we'll have a minute to digest this last 30 seconds. It was St. Elizabeth's a moment ago for a steal, 2 steals, turned it into 4 points. Timeout William Penn, who's now down by 1, and then they come out and score a few shots and take the lead right back, and now a chance to add at the free throw line. Coach, what just happened?
I think you explained it pretty well. It was end-to-end action, but going back to the timeout by Coach Lumpkin, obviously sensed the game was getting away from him. Takes the timeout, breaks the momentum, gets his team refocused. They take advantage of some overextended St. Elizabeth's defense. I've always felt when you're ahead, but that's the way St. Elizabeth's play. They're always going to pressure you, and they're going to live with some of these plays that other teams wouldn't because they want to speed you up and hope that you can't finish at the basket. Unfortunately for them, William Penn has done a good job here in the waning moments of doing just that, finishing at the basket and or getting fouled as Webb did there on that last attack.
Gibson had it on the outlet with a defender back-footing there towards the basket, and he just put it on the floor right to the cup and able to score. And then they're able to do it again, and now some free throws coming up for Webb, who has had a phenomenal game. Webb now with 15 points. Again, second on the team to Gibson, who again had 9 in the first half, was held scoreless in the third, but erupting for 8 here in the fourth is Zaire Gibson.
Well, the shot at the other end, and I'm not going to say it was necessarily too quick, but then Alexander has the green light from Coach Cassidy. There's no doubt, and he's certainly a capable shooter. Now, if you haven't been shooting well from the outside or from three-point range, maybe you try to get it to somebody else that has or create some action towards the basket where you might be able to score with the clock stopped. He had a look. It was somewhat contested. The problem was there was no St. Elizabeth's rebounder available for the offensive rebound miss. And so that allowed William Penn to get the ball, and then they pushed it immediately as well. So I'm not necessarily saying it was a bad shot, but maybe the time score, he might have been better off just waiting for some teammates to get back where they might be involved in the offensive rebound process.
There's a discussion with the officials on Caden Harris, who committed the foul. I believe
looks like there must have been a technical.
So I believe, and again, we'll have to check. We'll get a word here shortly, but the free throw, it is missed. So a big miss there by Webb. So we have an intentional fouls. They're saying Harris did not make a play on the ball. So these are intentional fouls. And now, and wait a minute, now something else is going on here.
Not sure we really had the angle to see that, and the call was made a little bit later on. I wasn't sure if it was
during the
talking
break
afterwards or during the play. So it did put Webb at the free throw line.
And Webb missed the free throw, but unhappy is Webb for some reason. Now as the officials had a word with him after the miss, and now both teams are going to head to the free throw. I think maybe just upset with him that he missed a technical free throw, maybe, perhaps, but... And now we have a timeout on the floor here.
Either way, William Penn is going to retain possession of the ball. Up at least 3.
So if that's the case, then there won't be any more free throws coming for Webb here as we come out of the break. So It'll be staying here with William Penn.
But he was on a shot attempt.
Exactly.
He should have been given 2 shots.
That's what my question was.
It was not a foul on the floor because he was clearly going up unless they ruled it on the floor.
And that must have been it. That must have been maybe what Webb was visually upset about after the missed free throw. He maybe thought he had 2 more coming. And he, in fact, will not. So, again, not sure what the deal is there with that one. But, again, it's going to be William Penn basketball here out of the timeout. They'll be up by a possession, up by 3, 55-52 with 39 seconds to go. And, Coach, we were saying easy, you go for the steal here quickly or you foul. What's your game plan?
Well, I think you definitely go for the steal, and they've had some success doing that. And if they don't get it, you've got to start the fouling process.
Here we go. Both teams out of the break. And, actually, they're going to say he's got 1 more free throw.
He should have at least 1 more.
I would imagine so. So they'll say 1 more, and then I believe possession would be back to William Penn.
So key is this free throw. Now he can take the 3-pointer out of it, even if they don't score on the next effort.
And he makes it. Big free throw.
How about Webb? He's had an outstanding game. One of those few seniors that either team has really been very productive here tonight.
16 for Webb and 17 for Gibson. We talked about the 2 older guys, the mature guys coming in back into this lineup, and they have been phenomenal tonight. Gibson now will have to inbound here. They get it to Webb, and he's able to finish it off. What a big finish on the inbound.
Screen for the screener play. St. Elizabeth's had a man on the ball. Nobody to defend the weak block. Webb with a huge play.
Stolen away by Gibson. Ball is loose, though, on the floor. Hustled down by Alexander. St. E's is still alive. And a timeout by Coach Cassidy now with 24.5 seconds after Alexander ran down the loose ball.
And here's what you want to know as a player. Listen closely. In that kind of situation where you have a lead and you have the ball, don't be dribbling it. Possess the loose ball. Hold it. They're either going to foul you or you can get it to another teammate. You try to dribble the ball. It creates an opportunity for a takeaway by the other team, and that's, in fact, what St. Elizabeth's did. So slow down, possess the ball. Don't worry about scoring there. You've got a 6-point lead with under 30 seconds. So, unfortunately, Gibson, who's played an outstanding game and really made a lot of hustle plays, that's one where I think he'd love to have the ball back and just hold the ball right there.
Instead, it'll be Viking basketball out of the timeout for Coach Cassidy's group. Now trailing by 2 possessions. They trail by 6 to William Penn. William Penn leading 58-52 as the Colonials trying to hand the Vikings their first in-state loss of the year.
And as a William Penn defender now, you do not want to give up any threes. 2s don't hurt you as much as giving up a 3. That the only way they can get back in the game is with some 3s or you missing a lot of free throws.
Here's Alexander on the inbound. Gets downhill, trying to beat Whitaker to the basket. High off the glass, no good. Holden battling, can't haul it in. William Penn has it. Webb with the exclamation point. The Colonials with a big lead down the stretch.
William Penn did exactly the right thing. They allowed the driver. He misses. They get the rebound, and they end the game. A huge victory for William Penn on their home court.
What a game here in Newcastle, and the Colonials at home knock off the number 2 ranked St. Elizabeth Vikings. They hand them their 2nd overall loss, their first in-state loss of the year. 60-52, and Coach, it was the seniors that helped get the job done. Zaire Gibson with a big game, 17, and then Andy Webb, the big fella, with 18. Those 2 players combined for 35 out of the 60.
In a game that featured so much young talent, how about the 2 seniors from William Penn really providing the impetus for this victory? A very impressive win. They come in with a losing record. St. E's, 2nd ranked in your poll, 8-1, playing some really great basketball, coming off a huge win, comeback win against Dover. They were resilient. They got down a couple times, but they never quit. Their youth is fun to watch too, but the 2 older players, the 2 seniors, Gibson and Webb, certainly were terrific tonight in and around the basket, made a lot of big plays in the clutch. This St. Elizabeth's team is going to be around for a long time. They've got some outstanding play. They play very hard. They don't have a lot of size, but I love the way they compete. They know their style. They just missed a few shots that they normally wouldn't miss. But William Penn with some great timeouts by Coach Lumpkin to calm his team down. Great resiliency by this William Penn team.
And now we're joined by the senior, Zaire Gibson. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, got you loud and clear. What a game here at home for you guys in Newcastle. Welcoming in the number 2 ranked St. Elizabeth Vikings. They haven't lost in state all year. What an environment. We love coming here, and you guys able to pull it out. 17 for you in the Webb, and you and your man Andy Webb getting the job done, the upperclassmen of this team. Talk a little bit about you guys coming into this lineup now and just needing that maturity there with this William Penn team, and you guys did a fantastic job tonight.
I feel like we all mature. We all keep it together. We all play hard. Even though we're young, people doubt us just because we're young. And we keep playing. We play hard every time we come out.
Zaire, congratulations. I'd like to know what Coach Lumpkin said at those 2 big timeouts. I thought he did a great job of breaking St. Elizabeth's momentum, but whatever he said, you guys certainly were able to come out.
Game plan coming in, right? St. E's a big win over Dover on Saturday. They come back over here. What was Coach's message, coming in here? What was the game plan against this Vikings team?
Game plan was to play hard. We play hard every time we come out. We came off a tough loss to Sanford on Saturday. We play hard, and we beat the number 2 team.
So again, Coach, what's the key to moving forward now, right? You guys coming into the top 10 now towards the back half. You get a big win here over St. E's at home. Again, with Coach Lumpkin and your squad, you guys got a chance each and every game. So what's the key to putting this together, making a run down the stretch?
To stay humble and keep playing hard.
I was very impressed. One thing I said earlier in the show about your team, your 3-5 record was not anything like this team plays. So to be able to kind of battle through that, get down to a really good team, it really speaks to the resiliency. And I think it has a lot to do with the senior leadership that you provide and also Webb.
Yes, sir. We play hard. Seniors or not, we all play hard. We play for each other. As Coach says, we play for each other for my brother. You know what I'm saying? We together, we're a family. It feels great.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. 17, our DE 302 player of the game, Zaire Gibson. And now we're going to hear from his head coach, Coach Gary Lumpkin. Zaire, appreciate it. Congratulations.
Thank you.
There you have it, 17 for the senior. Now we're going to hear head coach Gary Lumpkin as we get him putting the headset on for us. Always a pleasure to talk with Coach. And, Coach, here we are back at your place here for the first time this year. We love coming here. What an environment. Just walk us through, how you're feeling right now and what you took away from that game. Big win for your team here against the number 2 ranked team in St. Elizabeth, their first in-state loss of the year. What was going right for you guys today? What was the game plan for you?
First of all, let me give a big shout out to St. E's. Coach Mike really has a pretty, really solid team there. Only playing 6 guys and getting the max out of them guys, man. I got a lot of respect for Coach Mike in that program. As for us, man, listen, we're a gritty young bunch, man. And, they say that your team takes on the persona of your coach. I coach hard, and they go out and they play for me. And they play for this program. And I'm really proud, man. It's kind of, it's a little bit emotional because this is, we've had some games where we've been right there. And, we had a tough one against Sanford on Saturday. And to come back and to have some resilience and tough it out when, we were down by 8 points there late in the fourth, and to come back and have some resilience getting that job done, man. Really proud of my guys.
Gary, 2 things that I've noticed. One, you've done a really nice job of melding your youth with your veterans, and your veterans were terrific today, really probably the key. But I also thought you had a great feel at 2 big moments of the game to take timeouts where whatever you said in your huddle got your team re-energized, refocused, and I thought they really responded to you.
Thank you. I've tried to develop times where we can look at time and score during games like this. At one point, we were up by 1 point, I think, with about 2 minutes and 26 seconds left. And I told him, I said, look at the score. I said, right now we're in time and score. This is our goal for the rest of the game. And I told him to make sure that we were strong with the ball and that we worked on execution. Spread them out. We were in the bonus. And so we wanted to spread them out and work on making free throws. I didn't really care for our free throw percentage tonight. We got to get better. But we're going to keep working on that. But, again, big win. I don't want to take nothing away from the guys, man. They really stepped up and got it done.
I think Riley Garlick is going to be a terrific player. I'm already impressed with the pace that he plays at, his control, his aptitude. But could there be a better head coach for a young man like that? I remember you playing in your day and also watched you a lot in college. Smart, savvy, tough. Knew how to play at the right pace. So I think Riley Garlick is really going to benefit from working with you. And that must be fun to coach a player that's already got some skill and some talent. He's got a good basketball body for a young man, but he's going to really benefit from playing for you.
Kendall Riley Garlick is a throwback player. myself, Coach Davis, we've all put work in with him. He's the kind of kid that wants to work. He wants to work to be better every day. After practice, it's nothing for him to say, hey, Coach Lump, can we get some shots up? Hey, Coach Lump, can we work on ball handling? He's just that throwback, hard-working, gritty, tough one. In my opinion, he's the best freshman in the state. And I'm riding with him. He had a tough turnover last game against Sanford. I told him in the locker room for the game, I said, yo, man, it's a new game. All right, I'm riding with you. I'm going to give you the ball again. All right, go out and get it done. He said, yes, Coach. And today, all right, him and his brothers got it done.
Absolutely, Coach. Appreciate your time as always. Heck
Thanks
of a
so
victory
much.
here tonight at Newcastle. We love being here. Thank you very much, and good luck the rest of the way. Coach Gary Lumpkin, and we're going to put a bow on it with our coach, Coach Bill Harmon. What did you think about this one, Coach? A big win here for William Penn. Just to wrap it up for everybody at home, what a win for Coach Lumpkin's squad.
Effort, intelligence, a really good coach, ability for your seniors to make big plays when it matters. I think that was the story here.
Absolutely.
I liked what Coach Lumpkin said about Coach Cassidy's team, and we agree. I mean, they're loaded with talent. They can play an open court game as maybe nobody else in the state can. They certainly have some really good skill. I was impressed with their two seniors, Nixon and Hunter, who both are excellent players. They're young. William Penn's got some young players, so it's really a fun time in high school basketball to watch the way these teams meld throughout the season. They mature, who takes over. In this game, it was kind of a senior-led game, but both teams have big upsides. I think this was a huge win for William Penn coming off a tough loss, as Coach Lumpkin mentioned. A losing record. St. Elizabeth's coming in on a high, a huge win.
That's right.
And then William Penn finding a way after being down a couple times. So credit William Penn, but this St. Elizabeth's team's going to be around for the long haul. I guarantee you that.
Yeah, you're right about that. It was the seniors, as Coach mentioned, Annie Webb and Zaire Gibson combining for 35 out of the 60, and William Penn get a victory here over the visiting St. Elizabeth Vikings. Well, for everybody here at 302, the coach Bill Harmon, Jason Winchell, Nick Halliday, Mike Lang, and myself, we will see you on Thursday with Glenn Frazier in a battle down at Appoquinimink, but a great one here at Newcastle, as we'll see you next time on 302.